Welcome to another exciting episode of I don't know what the hell he wanted to do with that. Of Smash Writing. I am your host.
Uncultured swine.
I am your host, Paul, and this is Justin. And today we're
going to be talking about Kate, the Netflix movie that just came out. That was one of the movies I was excited for when you had me do the fall listing. Can't remember what place it was on. I forgot to check.
Wait, that was on your list?
Yes.
Oh. I just seen it on Netflix and I'm like, I read it on Netflix. I'm like, this might be a good idea to review it.
This is what I deal with. I say that while not remembering where I put Kate on my list. I think it was close to the top though. I said in my list that it kind of gave me some Crank vibes. So I tried going into this movie not thinking it was going to be Crank, because there's only one Crank.
Did you like Crank?
I love Crank. Crank was amazing.
Alright, so this was obviously on Netflix. Action.
Well, let's talk about the movie before we start delving into what it is.
Okay, go ahead.
But the movie pretty much starts off in Osaka with an assassin named Kate and her family handler, Varric, V. And she had one job to take out the guy, but when she gets in the sniper position, and the guy was with his daughter.
And her code is not to...
There's no kids involved, but as reluctant as she was, she takes the shot anyways. And you jump ahead 10 months, and she's talking about retiring. And that night, after she talks to V about potentially retiring and when the job is complete, she gets a hookup with this guy who spikes her drink with polonium-204, which gives her ARS, acute radiation syndrome, and she only has about a day left. So she wants to finish the job she started while taking a whole bunch of speed and uppers and stuff like that to keep her heart going long enough to finish the job on the people who tried to poison her. Didn't try, but actually poisoned her. And we follow her journey through, and we find out that, spoiler alert, and that should be obvious, but we find out that it was actually an associate of V who had her poisoned, and V's working with the people to eliminate Kojima so they can rise up in ranks there.
So V's reaction to her getting poisoned, he wasn't like happy about it.
No, he didn't want her to die because he still thought he could talk her into staying. But it was the associate Renji that went ahead with the poisoning because that was his opportunity to kind of get rid of her for what he did, but at the same time, that's what he thought should be done and handled. Because he didn't want her to just walk away.
Right. I mean, that was basically the plot of it, and of course, the ending is kind of self-explanatory. I mean, she is poison people, so...
Why'd you have to say it like that?
she is poison. She is going to die.
Like, that's the thing, like, they did such a good job making you care about her, too. Like, you're going in here knowing she's not going to survive.
But you wanted her to.
But she still manages to get you behind her character, and that's a really strong
to the point where you're like, hey, maybe they're going, because of how strong you're getting behind her, maybe there is a chance that they might...
Well, no, there was never any chance.
Well, they were kind of doing it and got disappointed.
You just want to see her finish everything and come out on top, in a way. Before she dies.
Which she did.
Yeah. She
succeeded, and then, she passes away thanks to the poison.
And just a tremendous amount of damage she takes through this movie. God.
She had such a high pain tolerance, like...
Well, no, she does take a beating, though. Like, she lost the one fight outright if it wasn't for Ani cracking the guy in the head.
Did they, the lover there, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a cocky one about things, like...
I think that was one of the things I really enjoyed about this movie, though, was as good as she was losing moments where she was getting thrown around and on the defensive a lot of the times. And
Yeah,
it was
like,
like, a big part of it is like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead did fantastic showing this too, is like, she is slowly, not slowly, like kind of rapidly decaying. Like you see the ARS on her body just overwhelming her, and she is losing faculties, and because of that, she cannot win the fights that she would probably normally win.
And I guess, like, when I was watching it, I didn't think about that at first, because I'm like, man, when she was getting her ass whooped, and sometimes I'm like, man, she kind of sucks. But at the same time, yeah, the poison was
and she's
in.
going from one fight to the next fight to the next fight, and the poison's wearing thin on her, and the beatings she's taking, and the fighting, and all of the energy expending. And she's not really, she's artificially raising her adrenaline and energy levels, so it's not the same output as she would normally have.
That's why she passed out in the cab going up to the hills.
Yeah.
Because she was just totally exhausted.
And I like that about it, is like, this was not, like, well, Ani calls it the Terminator in a way, she kind of is. Like, she takes bullets, but it's fantastic, just the way it was crafted and storied. And again, Mary Elizabeth Winstead did fantastic with this role. I really thought she did a great job.
I do think, like, one of the best parts is her as Kate. You know, you said the action that she was in.
I love the fight scenes that they weren't like sped up artificial. They weren't like sped up.
They were at regular speed.
At regular speed.
Yeah, I thought Mary did a great job as Kate.
And the brutality.
Yeah,
the brutality.
You were Justin's always a fan of brutality.
Yes, good brutality is a positive, especially in an action movie like this.
So, what was some of your favorite brutality?
Well, I've been raving about since this morning is when she was at the Black Lizard and she stabbed the guy underneath the neck and it went through the bridge of his nose, and it's like, that's such a great moment. Like normally, like the blade just goes up and it's gone, or you see it poke through the top of the skull. Like, no, this just went in and through the face.
One of the other scenes that, like, for me stood out.
Oh, you know what I forgot too was even at the Black Lizard, like her makeshift gun with the the flashlight silencer did malfunction. It didn't work completely. Like, it was malfunctioning on her. I like those it's the little things in the movie that will.
That sometimes you'll slip up and you're like, oh, whoa, what? That's actually.
Like this gun, she just workshopped the hell out of. Didn't work. I mean, it did, but it didn't at the same time.
Right. Another, a lot of times, like, when I watch a film, I see what reviews and
why did you do that?
Because I want to see if I'm.
That's wrong of me to say. Like, we're reviewing a movie, and I'm like, who cares about reviews, man? Just go.
I don't. But one of, like, Mary got, like, a lot of rave reviews, but I gotta, like,
spit it out.
Well, your sloppy writing.
Which one are you looking at?
Second one.
Mick Martino.
Yeah.
Mick Martino?
Yeah.
As Ani.
As Ani. That girl gave me some laughs.
I loved her at the beginning when she first kidnapped her, and she's like, when Kate's pulling out the gun, and she's like, stop or I'll... And she's already on. Already running.
And the way she was, like, talking crap on her in Japanese.
Yeah.
The foreign war and everything. She was going hardcore.
And she wasn't taking this shit. And
no.
That's kind of like, that's kind of like good too, because like she's going through a trauma of, I loved it when Kate shot her dad, the blood splatter on little Annie's face. Like that's gory too. That's gory on a good note. Like that's so bad because that like seeps in more to the kid's subconscious. It's like her dad's blood is all over her face. Like, that was a good little touch. But I love the fact that Ani was, like, she's messed up. Like, there's PTSD there, and she's angry. She knows she's not wanted in her family, and here's this kidnapper with a gun in her face, and she doesn't care.
Yeah, she is, like, literally swearing up a storm. She has no ounce of fear in her system with going, like, here's this woman with this gun. And she's thrown out the whores, the bitches.
But it's that she does revert back to a child when she's threatened, though.
Yeah.
And when she has to, like, pull the trigger on the guy, like, she's really shaken up, and I love that touch. That she pulled the trigger with her eyes closed and shot Kate.
Yeah.
Because that's what would happen. If you're closing your eyes with a gun, you're not going to shoot your target. You're going to shoot
You're not going to have a perfect shot.
Especially if you're not, like, experienced with guns. And she wasn't. You saw that she didn't know how to put the chamber in.
Yeah.
She was struggling to cock it. She didn't know what to do. So I like the fact that she couldn't shoot a gun. Again, the little things, which really help it.
And they ended up bonding. I mean, which was nice. Woody Harrelson.
That was the least surprising turn of all time.
You knew it was coming.
I mean, it's Woody. Of course, he's the villain.
He does play like if he's not.
Well, yeah, he does villain well. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, he is like he's born just. He has that look on his face like he's going to. You can't trust him. Like I feel like Woody's probably like such a nice guy in person, but then he's such a good bad guy in films that
like you smell the turn coming the moment you see them. Like
yeah.
It's gonna turn.
Has there been one film that he hasn't like?
Yeah, Zombieland.
He stayed a true.
Well, yeah, I mean it's just survivors and zombies.
Okay, that's a like technicality then.
They're not technicality, idiot.
This good action film.
You know what though? Yeah, I enjoyed. It was like they teased a big samurai sword fight, and it's over in a second.
Oh, with
Kojima and Renji. And they entered the box with the swords, and you're like,
something's
cool's gonna happen, and no, it's over. No, they did a bunch of little things like that, like we were talking. I loved it at the end when she walked into the tower. She's in the Hello Kitty shirt. She's got the sheet sunglasses on, and you see the Yakuza just come out, flanking from behind her.
With her cigarette
smoking. And just, that was a wonderful. They did some really cool shots in this movie. And there was a couple bad ones, like you didn't have to end with like a close-up on her face. Like, alright, that's just weird. I think that they should have went to black with like the long shot of Audie holding Kate and the cat's paw on the building. And then like that little fun note. But it's a little thing like that.
So this movie was an hour and 46 minutes.
They could have cut some time here and there to make it a little bit.
But the pace was
fine.
good.
The pacing worked good.
It
was slow at the beginning, but once the poisoning happened, it was on the gas.
Yeah, like non-stop on the gas. One thing was going to the next.
Because it did play with the fact that she didn't have time. She had to keep.
She had to go. There was no time to stop, and knowing V was. Somewhat involved, but not directly involved with her poisoning and everything like that. She didn't really have time to react. She had to keep going because she was set out on the mission, and to complete the mission, she had to.
And you did feel like a change occurred with her too. There was a little character growth before the end.
Yeah, because she went from this assassin who's
killed, take out Kojima to save Ani.
Yeah, and that was her. At one point, like after the reveal and Ani gets into the car, that's her now. Her new mission.
That's her. She knows she's only got an hour. I think you could say that she's got like an hour, and she's like, I'll make it last. And it was good. It was a fun action movie, a wild ride. Mary Elizabeth Winstead just like popped in like the top 10 actresses and actors going today from this performance.
This was R-rated, right? They didn't.
Yes, this was very R-rated. And they went through the guy's face. Come on.
Just to make sure, because I did not pay attention to if it was R-rated, but of course it.
Just hit him with a rock when you see him in public. Just beam him with a rock. Baseball, something.
So, we were okay with the plot. I mean, it was.
I mean, it was an action movie, you know.
Stories are not going to be somewhat.
And for what it was a great story. It worked for the movie. You gave it a running clock and went, she doesn't have a long time.
Yeah.
Go.
And there really wasn't like a plot hole where it's like, oh, she said 24 hours, but then it's like 2 days. It was literally all in that night span.
Well, I think it wasn't. There was a day. It was about 24 hours, I guess. Yeah.
They kept it in the legit time. Like
Yeah.
You never really seen the sunrise 2 days
In a row, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so they did do that. The action was on par. I don't think anybody will complain about the
I
action.
love the fight scenes. The fight scenes were all a lot of fun. They all felt different.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of utensils being used, stuff, the environmental kills. She had to use everything she could to win fights.
Yes. The character.
Well, there was that scene at the tower where she was on the ground, she had the gun pointed, and the guy had the gun pointed, and they were both out of ammo, and they're both rushing to get the guns reloaded in time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just those little, again, the moments in this movie were a lot of fun.
And they both shot each other though. Like, didn't they?
No, that was V.
Okay. Oh yeah, because V's like they did that same sequence and they both got the shot off, but I guess
Kate held on longer.
Yeah, she got the good shot in. I even liked the character of Lonnie. I thought that was a
huge thumbs up to using Bandmate in the club. I love that band. They're fantastic. This is the second time I've watched the movie and I'm like, I know that band, yes, go!
I listened to them.
Jamming out to Choose Me, yes. Yes, please, more of this. More of this in movies.
So, how would you rate this film?
Give it a B+.
What stops it from giving it a higher grade? Because, you did...
it's like right there. Like 89%.
Okay. I will have to go with... I'll probably stick with like an 85.
Go watch it.
Yeah, I'm not...
That's my final suggestion. Go watch it.
Yeah, I think it was a fun, thrilling ride. Yeah, you may have known Kate was going to die after she was completely poisoned, but...
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth made it work here. Like, normally, you can't... It's really hard to get behind a character that you know is going to die.
Right.
But it worked here.
Yeah, by the time I watched it Friday night, so I didn't catch it Friday morning. But by the time I got to it, it was #1 on the Netflix trending list. You gotta take that. A lot of people still have Netflix, so a lot of people probably already watched this film and appreciate it.
Watch it again. It's fun.
Yeah,
fun times. I just want to watch movies where I have fun. That's all I care about. Am I having a good time? I had a good time watching Kate.
Yeah, my thing is how I like to judge films is if I can stay still and not walk out of it, I'm enjoying it. Like, I watch them at my house, and if I I'll go get something to drink and miss 30 seconds, that means it's not piquing my interest.
That means nothing. It just means you can't go an hour and 46 minutes without a drink.
That's not true. I just get antsy and I just gotta get up. It didn't even actually feel like an hour and 46 minutes.
No, it went quick.
The pace was good, and that's, sometimes movies can get way too long, but hour 46 minutes, it got to the point. I appreciated that. I liked the action scenes. The story overall was, average, but like Justin said, it's an action film. It's certain films, they're not going to point towards one element or the other. Action films are action.
It gave us a story. It gave us a plot. It gave us a direct line, A to B to C to D. This worked fine. It worked.
Exactly. So we're...
It didn't try to be Crank, which had a very similar story to it.
His was like a different heart, right? Or something.
No, his was the Chinese shit. The heart was Crank too.
Okay.
It was a serious. It took what Crank did and made it more serious, and gave you less laughs and more
straight up
hard stories and action, heartfelt moments, character elevation, character growth.
Obviously, if there would be a sequel,
Well,
It would
no,
be led by-
let's try not to do that. Let's one and done. That's Kate. Unless you go with Ani.
That's what I'm saying.
Movie.
I
I would
would
watch
love
that movie in a heartbeat.
I would love to see Ani's growth. I really would. Like, that character, with Kate and Ani, those two were almost neck and neck. Not neck and neck, but Ani was holding her own with the scenes.
Yeah.
And, I got a good, I think the Ani character would be definitely
That'd be a different movie.
yeah, it would, Ani.
Well, I like
A spin-off.
the chemistry between Kate and Ani. I like because Kate realized that she can't she brought Ani along, but she has to keep Ani at arm's distance. To keep her out of as much of it as she could at the same time, keeping her around.
There you go. So, great film by Netflix. I mean,
Yeah.
during this month of September, we have a couple other Netflix films that
Did not live up to the mark.
did not.
That's
Kate
for
set
another.
the bar.
That's for another time.
In another week, another episode. Until next time,
Bye bye.
bye-bye.